So this is the final set. This is what we've got.
Oh my god. This is sick. Chris Waverly, Saltlands, that's sick.
Yeah, I do feel like my interior world is quite, it's everywhere, and it's hard to place what it is and how it is. So I feel like, and I don't know, seeing your head in a visual format is very trippy.
To you, what is autism?
I would put it as just another way your brain is structured, and there's different characteristics that once you put those all in different combinations for each individual who has that diagnosis, it creates very different experiences and perceptions and what it means to themselves. So I don't feel like you can ever say like this is what autism is, but rather it is something that is a part of you and it influences how you live and how you interact with the world, which generally so isn't autistic. I would say my autism is very internal in what my characteristics are. So I would say then that my autism is very interior world. I definitely felt alone. My mum has saved work from I was around that age where, like, when teachers had asked, like, oh, what's your biggest fear? And everyone said, like, oh, the dark or fire or this. I said being alone. And so I do feel like being that age, not knowing how to interact, but wanting to, but not knowing how to, left me, even though I was surrounded by people, feeling quite alone. And so I had imaginary friends to fill that, I guess, social gap that I was experiencing. I convinced myself that I was Santa's helper, one of Santa's elves, and I think it's because I had just watched Elf the movie around that period of time that I started touching my ears going, oh no, they're pointy, I'm an elf, I gotta go. I approached my mum one day, I was in hysterics, crying my eyes out, going, I have to leave you. And she's like, what do you mean you have to leave? And I was like, it's National Elf Day and all the elves had to go back to Santa. I have to say goodbye. I went out to our swing, and I went on the swing. I was trying to fly myself up north, literally up, just up, because in my head north means up. Once again, autistic child, taking things a bit too literally. If you don't feel like you fit in, there has to be some other explanation. And I think for myself, because I didn't have the label, I didn't know the word autism, but I knew elf, and that explained a difference within me and then my peers. So I do believe the fantastical part can be a level of coping, of escapism, but also trying to find that identity that we're confused with because we're not neurotypicals. I went to the same high school as primary school, so I had the same friends throughout. But I do feel like I didn't really form a lot of really close connections like other people did. And so there was a lot of things I socially missed out on doing, like, oh, this happened and then that happened, sort of conversations afterwards, all those sort of events, because I wasn't close enough to people I missed out on. So I feel like I was trespassing a lot of social connections by being there if they were talking about things that had happened. And to this day, I have people be like, oh, remember when XYZ happened? And I'm like, no, because I wasn't there, or no, because no one told me. Or if I had close friends, I noticed that sometimes they would then find other people and they would get a lot closer and hang out with them a lot more. And I didn't understand that, and again made me feel like there's something that has to be wrong with how socialize. They constantly want to be around other people more. I wasn't myself, but rather an act out of, I guess, shame and I guess almost necessity. So then, because humans, like, we want to feel connected, and without that we can feel so isolated, and I was a bit tired of feeling that level of isolation. Usually if I don't feel safe enough around them to communicate in a way that's not very neurotypical, so it feels as if I'm trying to perform neurotypical communication skills or social skills, almost like another language. But even when that language, everyone speaks it, I don't feel like the native speaker. So there's a level of misunderstanding or misinterpretation that I'll always have because it's not natural. It feels like it rises throughout my body. It starts quite like in my stomach and it rises through to my throat. And then I feel like my words are like strangling me and any ability to speak has been lost. I feel quite frantic and panicked. My eyes start darting everywhere. I don't know where I'm looking. I don't know where I should be looking. I don't know what to do. I just start excessively stimming because I'm trying to, I guess, counteract with whatever's being thrown at me, and I'm just doing anything I can to just calm down. I feel like my stims become very overt to someone else who's watching. That can be like excessively pacing around a room that for a very long amount of time, or just like my hands are just going a bit wild, or like I'm playing with my hair excessively. I feel quite warm and clammy, and I feel quite faint. There's this daze across me, and that sort of anxiety that sits on top of your lip that makes it kind of quiver, and like you feel like it's like there's bubbles arising on your lip. That really sets in, and once I feel that, I know that point I'm gone. That's when I can normally identify, oh, this is sensory overload. Inside my ears, they feel like they're on fire, and the only way I can escape is to, like, if I claw my skin off me, like I need to burst through my skin, and then it just gets worse. Then that's a shutdown and I'll faint. I think as I got a bit older and I was able to distinguish what I wanted, where I wanted to be, how I wanted to be, and less how could I slide and reconfigure myself into neurotypical conversation and settings. The focus was on things that would actually benefit me in my life. You're more expected to adapt rather than people see you, who you are for who you are, and then you can just bridge level of, I guess, difference through acceptance. There's more expectation that you adapt and assimilate. I am quite happy with how I function. Like, some days aren't the best. Some days can be a bit isolating or just too overwhelming, but I wouldn't want to alter who I am, because I feel like those parts that overwhelm me has led me to be equal parts of making who I am. So I wouldn't want to give a part of myself away for the sake of maybe being a bit better at social cues. Now that I'm the most aware of what my autistic traits are, and I am the most comfortable with myself and my autism, I feel like this is the most connected I've ever felt. And that's something I embrace now. So I think that change in mentality allowed me to actually be happy and do what I wanted to do and be at peace and just be.